Martin. I'm 84 years old. People think I'm crazy when I tell them how old I am. I'd like to be wrong. I just have a sickness. The only way I can survive is by drinking blood. Not easy living the way I live. You have to be careful all the time. But I'm pretty good at it. I think as I get older, I get better. I haven't been caught yet. Those things I see in the movies are not real. I have a whole lot of women. I watch them a lot all the time. I have to.
Band doing Soft Cell Martin at Via Fossa in Nottingham recently. That was on the 15th of July, I think. I don't know, it was a couple of Saturdays ago or something. Anyway, yes, I am Derek Anthony Williams, the futurist, or whatever you want to call me today, donning the black wig look for because, you know, it seemed apt to tonight's proceedings. Anyway, we've got quite a lot of things to get through. Let's have an act that is playing alongside the Wattingers at my festival in November. Let's have a bit of that, I think. A bit of Byronic Sex and Exile, who are here playing Hope and Anchor in London, where I'll be on Saturday. Though I won't be in black wig form there. Anyway, yeah, so this Byronic Sex and Exile, I'm not sure what the track is right now. I'll look it up later and find
Oh, the cold autumn night. to the 100th BCSE gig. I've done this 100 times, fucking hell.
Wait.
I wasn't until 100.
100 gigs, eh? And that's barely been around 3 years, I think, that project. And God knows how many he's up to now. Anyway, we need to get on and get a bit of Wattingers on. So this is the video Aaron Jacobson Had a Twin. Some Slaughterhouse steampunk blues for you or something along those lines.
Aaron Jacobson had a twin that lived deep inside of him, attached from within by an umbilical thread. It slipped out the night when Aaron slept in his bed. Of him was such a blessed thing. A touch could bring wealth more than acquired by a king. The Church of Ezekiel canonized him, elusive, nocturnal, almost never seen. Jacobson's friend, and one night he resolved to get hold of that twin parasite. For money and wealth and good luck he did seek, so he hid in the grass till Aaron was asleep. It was dark and the crickets chirped, drowned out the sound of the creeping out creature as it dropped to the ground. Caney up and he grabbed it, it gave out a squeal. It pulled hard on the cord, like a flash it disappeared. Unheard of, Cain would not let go. Unsurprising, Aaron awoke from the incursion below. At that point, neither Aaron nor Cain were aware of the third twin inside of gristle teeth and hair. Twice and thrice and twice again on the impudent fist of that greedy man Cain, whose hand was left severed in Jacobson's ass as he whimpered and he scampered through the blood-splattered grass.
Right, so yes, the Wattingers, who are playing my festival, who I met at a festival, or at least I met Martin anyway. I don't recall seeing Sarah around, or if I did, then sorry, I didn't say
she was trying to film you when you were doing your show, actually.
All right. Well, thank you, Sarah, for that. Yeah, so Wattingers, a sort of steampunk, blues, slaughterhouse, goth, something or other, named, inspired at least, by a children's TV programme. I mean, that's a bit not something that people were expecting, I'm sure. Perhaps and even though I've read up about it, it might be fun to tell the viewer listeners all about why that happened.
Yeah, so I think when I started the Wattingers, I wanted something really simple, really basic, just two people, just to avoid all the shenanigans that goes on when you have like a full band, which I had quite a lot of in London. And at the time when I was building the band, it was just two of us, myself and my brother playing bass. The Night Garden program was on because my son used to watch that, and the characters the Wattingers are on, and they were kind of like the neighbours of the Pontypines. You hardly ever saw the Wattingers, but the name Wattingers, it just conjured up this idea of a sort of an inbred sort of ex-pioneer family in the in the deep south that got lost and had resorted to cannibalism, but still maintained some of their kind of religious tendencies, but a little bit sort of twisted out of shape. So for some reason, that's exactly what I thought of when I heard the name the Wattingers. I thought that's who the Wattingers are, So I took the name. It created this kind of image in my head, and that's where we took the name, and it kind of helped that my brother has no interest in dressing up at all, but he at the time had this massive Amish style beard and long hair, and all I had to do was to put him in a kind of like granddad t-shirt and a waistcoat, and that was it. That's how the band started. So we kind of fit that that kind of that image really. But yeah, it's for some reason that's exactly what the Wattingers meant to me, the name.
So I'm very keen on the sort of story building aspect of it, and how did Sarah come into that? And if I get up the sort of description of her character in the band, for the longest time she's been walking about the Arizona desert lands, and came back wearing ghosts dragged up from the haunted plains on Rib Rattler and Bone Shaker, daughter, niece, third wife of Martin Wattinger. So it's important to you to try and create this sort of world with this whole character names and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of power in words, isn't there? And there is also power in sentences. And I think I just felt it. I've always kind of been really interested in the kind of West and the Old West, and all the way back to, when I was a child, the kind of films that were on that you saw as a child were all Westerns. Now, obviously, a lot of the time we look back on them now, they're all very kind of from the perspective of the kind of the white Americans and how the Indians were bad and all that kind of stuff. So but even so, there was still some kind of mystery in all of that, and it's I think the world of the Western has a lot of powerful kind of a lot to offer. And I think for me, something like Deadwood, the series Deadwood, which absolutely, I mean, it's sort of poetic. It's almost like Shakespeare when you watch that and listen to the way they talk. So those words and the stories and the imagined mythologies are there, for me. But Sarah joined the band in was it
2018?
2018. And how she joined is really interesting as well. So I mean, and also the character that she is inspired by is quite important as well. So I think Sarah can tell you that bit if you like.
Yes, well, I first encountered the Wattingers. I think they were playing live at the Phoenix down in Exeter. I think it was the Steampunk Yule Ball in 2017, and I found the whole show sort of mesmerizing, and I thought it was amazing, but I felt like there was something missing. So the next time I saw them, I think it was in 2018, early 2018, I think it was at the Witches Ball thing, also at the Phoenix, and I decided to approach Martin and try and basically say, exactly that. There's something missing. You need a female element, maybe a bit of percussion or something. completely not expecting, just thinking, yeah, he'll just say, "Oh no, we're all right, thanks," But he was totally open to the idea, and I just said, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, okay."
So
and then
was
I had
a rather sort of fortuitous encounter for both of you, perhaps. So yeah, carry on. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Well, the thing was, I'd always thought that a percussionist would be something that I would entertain in the band, because we're never going to have a drummer. There's no room in my car for a drummer, and it just completely alters everything when you have a drummer in a band. And it would change the way I do everything, the way I record backing and all that kind of thing. So I always had in my mind that a percussionist, I'd be open to that. But I think also what Sarah said was really important, and that kind of, even though there's only two of us in the band, originally two males, and we've gone through a few bass players by the time I think Sarah was interested in joining. But very relevant, that kind of female aspect to it as well, and bringing something else into it, and the percussion idea just helps bring kind of recorded drums and the live bass and the live activity. It kind of helps transition and hold all that together, and more so now because I write stuff with Sarah in mind, whereas before she was working out stuff to play to tracks we'd already got.
And my background, I used to play drums, proper full drum kit in bands back as far as when I was about 14. I started playing, and for various reasons, largely because kind of being in the goth scene and being a female drummer in a goth scene, and where basically every band that I ever approached weren't interested because they were happy with their little electronic drum machines.
Yeah, goth bands are supposed to use drum machines, damn it.
Yes, exactly. So I was kind of surplus to requirements. So I thought, well, okay. So I was in several rock bands before, and I sort of largely just remained in rock bands for a while, up until I think the late 90s, early 2000s. And I kept trying to break into the goth scene, trying to get into a goth band, and it just never really worked. So I kind of gave up a bit. And after a number of years, I kind of thought, do I really want to get back into playing the drums? Do I have the energy? Do I have the room? I don't have the room for a drum kit or the space, or just. And I thought, why not pick up smaller pieces of instruments and just play around with little percussion things? And that's when the Wattingers kind of inspired me to sort of do that. And I thought, yeah, I could do that. That's kind of a progression almost, or it's sort of an evolution.
How did you find it then, integrating into the Wattingers and Martin? How did you, how was it for you, that Sarah's addition sort of with those sort of early days? So first of all, Sarah, how was it integrating into the whole thing?
It was a bit scary at first because I hadn't really performed live for a while, so it was a little bit scary, and I was trying to perfect the idea of my character before I sort of got into, and I'm one of these people, I tend to kind of procrastinate a lot and put things off. But it wasn't until Martin said, "Okay, we've got this gig in August. Can you do it?" I was like, "I don't know. Okay." So I kind of then felt I had to kind of come up with something really quickly. So then that's when I kind of came up with my character. And I thought about the kind of percussion instruments I had. You had a tambourine, which he had a tambourine, which he gave me. I came up with a sort of a shaker thing, and which I kind of decorated with a baby doll head. And that was it. That was my instrument. And we did this first gig in a small pub with very few people. And it was fun, and I got really energized. And the idea behind the character that I have was, I was doing a bit of research because I wanted to obviously keep it sort of within the whole sort of southern sort of mythos, the sort of deep south. So within that kind of world, the universe. So it had to be sort of around about sort of 19th century, and I was looking into 19th century characters. and I discovered the character of or the person, the historical character of Olive Oatman, who was this what do you call it? So pioneers, yeah, probably she was probably in that sort of area. And her family was slaughtered and left for dead by this tribe of Native Americans. I can't remember which tribe exactly. I think no, they weren't the ones that slaughtered her family. She was sold on to the Mojaves. So and all her family, apart from her and her sister, were left for dead. Her and her sister were captured by this tribe and then sold on to the Mojaves. Who then kind of integrated them into their society, and that's where she gets these little tattoo marks on her chin. It's fascinating. And then I think her brother, who wasn't dead, came to find her, and she reluctantly went back with them. There's some conjecture around whether or not she'd felt so integrated into this community that she didn't want to leave, or whether it was some kind of Stockholm syndrome. Who knows? I don't know.
But still a fascinating, compelling really story. Can see why you were definitely attracted to that. So how was it for you then, Martin, adding those sort of initial moments? Were you sort of a little bit apprehensive when Sarah was about to join you for the first time? Is this going to work and that sort of thing?
I kind of believed it was going to work. I think at the time the bass player I had was a guy called Ren, and he basically ended up moving up to Scotland and made it even though we tried to continue, it couldn't be further apart. I'm in Plymouth, which is at the bottom left hand part of the world, or not the world, obviously, world as we know it, the UK, and he was not even just up in Scotland, he was almost in the bloody islands, not quite, so that was quite difficult. Anyway, getting back to what you just asked, he when he plays, he's really mental on stage, basically. So he's a bit of a danger to anybody anywhere near him. And I made these hoods for him. So Kai wears a thing that I've made for him, but I made several different ones for Ren. So his vision was pretty narrow as well. So that the main concern was whether Sarah was going to get battered by Ren's bass while he was swinging around and having his kind of special sort of performance things happening, and I think also I got a sense that he's a bit adding an extra ingredient to the band may have some effect, but I think he adapted to that pretty well, and I don't think you got whacked. I'm not sure if you did or not.
Maybe a few times, but not hard.
Yeah.
I've been in trouble for that a few times in the past, but yeah.
I was hyper aware of where he was.
Yeah. No, it was to me. It just seemed that it was going to work,
Yeah. When I see the images of you all together, it just seems to make total sense like that. I think it really adds to that sort of whole family, this bizarre family aspect. I think that really, really brings it in. And speaking of other family members, your current bass player, Cletus, I believe it is.
Yeah, Cletus Kai Babadook Wattinger, yes.
I'll pop
so
an image of him on the screen.
One of the masks, actually I've got it up there somewhere, I think. One of the masks I made for him, I really like the film The Babadook. It is
a very, very good film.
And I kind of felt that Kai, this is the other one, yeah, this is his current one here. That's the one that...
the Kai's here, but not here.
I start with the basic thing, where a lot of the Kai's ones I've made from kind of paintball kind of masks, slightly skull-shaped masks, and then I cut them all up and do things with them. So that's Kai's...
It's hugely impressive that you create so much of the costuming yourself. Sarah, I assume, does her own thing. Both look absolutely wonderful, and that is, I think, that's definitely one of the things which attracted me to you in terms of having you for my festival. I sort of instantly thought, yes, this looks amazing. I want this around at my festival. And then just that sort of element of there's that old West blues thing, but combined with a certain modernity with the sort of electro side. Like you like to include the synchronized video stuff at the back. So what made you want to have the video stuff there?
I think for me, it's a bit like thinking, what can we do to add to something? What can I add to this thing? And I think because I've always been kind of visual anyway, and in terms of being creative. If I think back to how we started, like I said, it was just me and my brother, and a bit of a kind of an Amish look to ourselves, and I wanted it really simple. So bass live on stage, backing track with the drum machine and maybe a bit of keyboard, me playing harmonica and singing, no guitars, just get back to the really old days of blues before, when people couldn't afford guitars. Some of those old blues players use harmonicas to make awesome sounds because they couldn't actually afford guitars. So that's how it started, and it was going to be as simple as that. And the problem is, I think, oh, what about this? What about that? What about this? Wouldn't it be great? I can maybe put some videos together, then getting hold of secondhand projectors, making stuff up, and it kind of just grew. So I think in a way, me avoiding having a proper big band, if you like, because of kind of dramas that go with that, and it's just I haven't got the energy for it anymore. I just can't be bothered with that. It's been kind of replaced by having more than a carload of stuff to carry around at gigs, and quite it's sort of complex but old school technology, DVD players, little transmitters, and lots of guitar pedals and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it's grown from, but also been very visually inspired by films and filmic stuff, like Night of the Hunter is one of my most favorite films ever, film that Robert Mitchum is in. It was directed by I can't remember who's the guy who was the Hunchback of Notre Dame, the actor Charles Lawton. He directed that film. I think he might have only done 2. He got so badly slated he never made a film again. But Night of the Hunter is one of my most favorite films. It's got Robert Mitchum in it, and we do a song called Hand of Love, which is the dialogue from one of the speeches he puts in there, and I use a video footage from that as well. So yeah, it's almost inevitable that I was going to get drawn into that and do that kind of stuff.
Speaking of the visual side of your life generally, we are talking to someone who is really has been responsible for some rather iconic artwork, as you were involved in with the band Crass and designing covers for them.
Discharge,
sorry, not Crass.
But they were very.
All these punk bands are the same, Be it Crass, Discharge, The Damned, Sex Pistols, they all blend into one and need another.
So Discharge, so I kind of, when I was at art college in Stoke-on-Trent, I got to know Discharge because I was like a punk I was living in Birmingham before when punk was happening, the early, the first stages of punk. And then I moved to Stoke-on-Trent to college, to art college. And then I'd heard about this band that everyone was scared shitless of, you know what I mean? They're all about 17 years of age, but everyone was frightened of them. And I thought, I need to meet these people. And then I got to know Discharge, and, as before they had their first kind of singles out and stuff like that, kind of went to their rehearsals, and they I kind of did their first 3 EP covers and the 3 Skulls design, which has become quite an it's been a massive icon now to the 80s punk, really. And I didn't get any money for any of it, but it's not like the band had any money. They had nothing, you know what I mean? They were living at home, they're either on the dole or whatever, so, but there's a huge amount of money being made out of that design by lots of other people. And only recent years I've made little deals with organisations with art, with people that are putting that stuff out. So I do get some royalties for some of that stuff, when it's sold.
I believe you have done some art exhibitions from time to time as well, haven't you? I've been very, very impressed with some of your just other artworks that I've seen around from looking at what you've done on Facebook and that. So have you? When's the last time you exhibited just some of your artwork generally?
I haven't really. I mean, I've not really made. I mean, all my making and doing stuff has been all Wattinger related. But there is a band in Bristol that have asked me if I can do something for them, and I'm kind of putting that on hold a little bit because I've just got a lot to do at the moment, and I kind of need a bit of clear space to think about that. So yeah, there's a band that wants me to do some artwork for them, having seen the stuff I've done for Discharge. At some point, I'm going to do another bit of artwork for Discharge, just kind of on, you know, without being commissioned. I just a long time ago, Jeff, the singer, asked me if I would do something for them at some point. So I'm planning to just do that and see whether they want it or like it or not. And what else is happening? And also, like, is another kind of blues type project that I'm involved in, where they want me to kind of customize some of their clothing and stuff to kind of fit it into the
not only
image, you know.
Not only artwork designer but clothing designer. You've just got your hand in many different design projects. And speaking of other projects, where does the Seven Devils, I believe it is, fit into things?
Well, Seven Devils came out of I did this song called Son of a Preacher Man, which was a Wattingers song. And I've avoided using guitar in the backing because I just feel that you can use keyboards and sort of different types of sound in backings because people, that's what they do. You know, you can have performers that have a singer on stage and somebody noodling about in the background, which could be backing, but it could also be keyboards and that. So I avoided using guitar because I just thought it wasn't going to sit right. And I just tried a little bit with Preacher Man, and also because it's quite a dark song, there's a dark feel to it. And I thought I want to do a lot more of this, and a kind of more gothic in a way, I would say. So Seven Devils came out of that. I started writing a lot more songs that were a little bit darker and quite a bit of guitar riffs in. And then that became Seven Devils, really. So I mixed them up live because all I'm interested in when we play live is creating the best set for that gig. And it's becoming more and more like I need to make stuff happen fast, you know, and people to engage really quickly and get people sort of dancing around if possible. So quite a lot of our tracks are Seven Devils stuff, but there's other stuff as well, which is still definitely jumping around music, but a bit more humorous, you know, a lot more tongue in cheek. So Seven Devils is a little bit darker, a little bit less jolly, I would say.
Yeah, I noticed in the interview it was suggested that there is often a certain tongue-in-cheek element of the whole Wattingers thing. I mean, just simply naming yourselves after a children's programme sort of suggests that, but whilst also being an absolutely incredible act to see, there is that certain not taking yourselves too seriously element of it, which is definitely appealing, especially sort of when you have like a skeleton on screen. And speaking of other projects on stage, rather, Sarah, I believe you do an Elvira act.
Oh, goodness me.
I was informed of this by Alex, I believe. Alexandria Corvin said that if my opening act on the Friday drops out, then you might be able to step in and be Elvira for us for a while. So what's that all about, and where did that come from?
Oh gosh, well, I've been obsessed with Elvira for many years. I've always been a big fan of hers, and I think when I was at university, I started with a friend of mine. I started the burlesque club. As you do when you're at university, you start these little clubs and get people to join. And so we started a burlesque club and started to sort of teach people how to do burlesque, you know, sort of doing all the glove taking off and all of that sort of thing, all the traditional burlesque stuff. And we put on a few shows. I did a bit of belly dancing, and my friend did some feather dancing and all that sort of thing, and balloon popping. And then I sort of thought, I want to do Elvira. I really want to do Elvira. So I kind of took the Vegas bit that she does at the end of the Mistress of the Dark, and I kind of cobbled together an outfit and learned the moves, and then just did that as just like a little one-off thing. And then I thought nothing more of it. This was back in 2009, and I did it sort of for a little burlesque troupe in Cambridge. And I thought, for ages after, I thought, yeah, I'd like to redo it. I'd like to do it again. But then life took over, and I forgot and didn't really think any more of it until I think it was a few years ago, and I went to a steampunk event where they had another team of really, really good burlesque dancers, and it sort of fired me up again. And I was like, I really want to do this Elvira thing. And I approached the lady, Raven Noir, about possibly doing a bit for her show. And she seemed really interested, and that kind of fired me up, and I thought, right, okay, I'm going to do this. So I basically did everything from scratch, built all the sort of outfit from scratch, learned all the moves again, and thought, okay, well, I'm gonna just try this out of a local steampunk event, Raising Steam, just do a little opening number or something. And he gave me a half-hour slot.
Wow.
And I was, oh my God, okay, now I have to come up with a whole show. So I did a lot more research into the whole Elvira and on all the shows that she put on, because I wasn't aware, but she did for a long time, did half-hour shows at Not Scary Farm every Halloween. So I looked at YouTube and all these different shows that she'd done, and I thought, right, okay, well, I'm going to sort of put something together based around this. I stole a few of her numbers and stole a few of her jokes and kind of put something together. And then I sort of did that at Raising Steam last year. And yeah, it was terrifying.
It's been
was
asked
so
in
fun.
the chat if you can do the rotating tassels trick.
Yes, I totally can.
Very well, in fact.
Yes.
So that's that answered for you, Margaret the Dwig.
Thank you.
There are videos.
There are videos.
So seek them out. So I think we could probably talk all night about your various histories about everything, but we should probably wind things up, and I'll include a little bit more of your music as well, as that is the vital thing. And I'm absolutely excited that I'm so gutted I didn't see you down at Alice's Wicked Tea Party, but it was absolutely fabulous to meet you, and thank you for Martin for being so very kind about my performance as well. Much appreciated.
You were great, and
Yeah,
I'm really glad
really,
that Jason, Magic, let's say that.
Yes, or whatever we want to call him.
Yeah. No, he said
M from Sid 31.
Yeah, that fellow. Yeah, no, because we were really, really busy at Alice's, and I was sort of helping Sarah sort of stuff out. We kind of missed quite a few things. And we had to kind of be careful about, and we're playing obviously as well. He said, check out Jan Doyle bands, and it was like really, really glad I did.
Been a very good friend for a long time, and appreciate him loads.
Yes,
absolutely great guy.
I've been meaning to check you out for a while as well, because I keep seeing you. I pop up on Facebook on various things. So
yes,
it was rather epic.
Involved in many things. So anything else briefly you'd like to add before I get rid of you?
Well, I mean, we are playing tomorrow night in a place called Torrington at the Plough Arts Centre with the Heathen Apostles, who are from the States. They've come over. They're doing it the first time they come to the States. So we've done once. We support them at one place. We're doing 2 gigs with them tomorrow night at Torrington at the Plough Arts Centre, and then on Saturday at the Exeter Cavern, which is a really awesome venue. If anyone in Exeter is thinking of coming down to it, we're starting at 7:30. It's a very early start, because there's a club night on after, which everybody's free to the people that go in to see us play, to come and see us. Then you get the free club night after. So that's it really for
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Wattingers.uk for all your Wattingers info, and I look forward to you eventually joining me on my stage at joining me, but joining me in the venue at least.
Buy our merch.
Yes, buy. Commercialism is the important thing here. Yes, they're not in it for the art; they're in it for the money. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Art doesn't put food on the table.
We need more skeletons.
Yeah.
You know, more demon skeletons, not just any skeletons.
Yeah.
Obviously. Right, thank you so much, both of you, for joining me and being looking absolutely fabulous and amazing tonight.
Thank you very much for asking us on.
I look forward to having you along at my festival in November. So if I don't see you before, I will see you then. All right, bye for now.
Jay Hawkins style, don't you know how to get a line? You make the devil come home. Like a bone, make a trombone. Take a dead dog's eye, a piece of coke on fire. And a little wine, that make you feel on fire. Roll your flies, about the hangman's eyes. Till the sky, you wine. It was wrong, like that bone, yeah. Like a bone, make a little trombone. Take a dead dog's eye, a piece of coal on fire. Burn it on wine, make it feel on fire. Rope your flies, about a hangman's eye. Tail is fly, get away. Here it comes, like a bone, yeah. Like a bone, make a devil trombone, toe hop pie, alligator wine, more alligator wine, even more alligator wine, make it feel out fine, all the time. Till it's fine, more alligator wine, make a devil trombone, like that bone, yeah. Yeah! Like a bone, get a trombone, get no time. Go on by, little one, make it go by, don't go by. Hangman's eye, little one, make it go by. Get a devil trombone, like that bone, get a devil trombone, like that bone. Thank you kindly. I have to say, this has been really good fun, and that's how it's fun. Great. So we're the Wattingers. You can buy, we got 2 CDs down there. We got 7 Devil CD, which is a side project. Even if you weren't here last night, you can still buy it because it's good. And I don't think we got any more encores than that. That's it. We're all done for. Thank you very much. Hey, good night. Thank you.
I thought that was quite excellent. Can't wait till they come along at my festival. That will be from the 24th to the 26th of November in Sheffield. Might pop up the poster there. Right, other things I've got coming up is I've got Christine Young coming over. Well, she's on tour in the UK and I'm helping her out with a few dates at the end of September and start of October. And this is a bit of what to expect. If you don't know already, she's astonishing.
Stop Everything is absolutely hopeless.
Me back on screen.
There is no hope
I'm
anywhere.
going to wrap things up now with a cover song from someone involved in an artist playing, an act that's playing my festival as well. So from Glasshouse Museum, it's the inventor of World Goth Day as well. So we'll have a bit of a lovely cover song from, well, it's not really a song, there's no vocals on it, but anyway, this is Mr. Lee Meadows, and it's a Canton cover of Japan. So let's have a bit of that to finish off, and all being well, I'll see you next week with Corvid Priest joining me.